Hello everyone and welcome now to a game in a series between Liquid Snute and Goody here on Antigua Shipyard. We see Goody spawning as the red Terran player here at what I'll call the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Liquid Snute spawning as the blue Zerg. Now, I did already cast this game with my fellow co-caster Yegwin. Unfortunately, I don't have the ability, and nor do I want to try to balance and worry about recording these games as I'm casting them, as that would add a little bit more complexity in terms of the overall quality of my casts. And it is all on Yegwin's channel, but if you guys haven't been following Yegwin or haven't been following me on Facebook and are unable to watch the games live, go ahead and watch them here. Now, one thing to note, I'm sure you guys noticed, I have relabeled and restarted the counter in terms of the number. This is now Heart of the Swarm Cast 001, and let's hope to 2,000 more games of Heart of the Swarm as this game does get underway. Now we see Goody opening up with the front door barracks. He will be going for also an 11 refinery. This has become a much more common strategy in Heart of the Swarm as it allows players to go for that very early Reaper. That early Reaper allows Goody to not, or doesn't force Goody to send out an early SCV, and because he doesn't have to send out an early SCV, it actually helps out his overall economy just a bit in terms of the resources. We are going to most likely see a Reaper be trained out of there in just a moment, most likely upgrade to an orbital command as well, and the timing should be exactly that. Train up a Reaper, train up an upgrade to an orbital command, and then see and scout out what Liquid Snute is doing. So far, the Overlord is going to come into position, spot that the refinery is now down. You can see gas is still being harvested, and I'm wondering if Goody is going to be going for, it looks like Goody will be going for additional Reaper play as opposed to a fast factory. Now, Reapers in Heart of the Swarm are much, much weaker. I don't know if you know this, but Reapers are significantly weaker as we now see Snute transition into a Roach Warren. Okay, Roach Warren being brought into play. Roaches, a very, very strong counter to these Reapers. And without Whittle Mines, or without the ability to train Whittle Mines, Goody might actually be in a whole lot of trouble. He's going to have no real way to defend against this. The Reaper is going to still scout out. He's going to spot the Roach Warren. And is the Reaper going to be able to get away in time? It looks like it will be able to do exactly that. But what is his follow-up play going to be? He now needs to set up a bunker here to make sure that those roaches are unable to attack this front door. The problem will be that Snute does have an Overlord in position. I believe this Overlord backed around and will be able to get into the position right here and just start punishing Goody's front door. Goody sitting on 15 drones versus 19 SCVs as we now see an army of roaches already make their way down. The Reapers may consider trying to stay inside the base to keep the roaches inside. But no, it looks as though the Reapers are going to be retreating all the way back home. And I don't know if I agree with this. Goody should perhaps try to keep the pressure up with those Reapers. They're not going to do much against those roaches. As we now see, an Overlord. Overlord of Goody, or Overlord of Snute will get shot down. A beautiful play by Snute to kind of protect this front door. Without that Overlord in position, I believe the bunker will be able to cover the roaches, and the roaches will not be able to get sight up onto the high ground. That is a significant issue as we now see 2 Reapers, 2 Marines down off over here. Production tab shows Starport now being added, and the roaches will just be forced to pull back here. Harvester count is 23 SCVs versus 18 drones. Roaches are still down here as we should be going into a Banshee. That's going to be a very strong counter for Goody, as Banshee should be able to clean up many of these roaches before they are able to deal any damage. Transitioning though, Goody does not have a follow-up. Nope, there's a follow-up orbital command command center, and he should be able to perhaps land that expo there in just a second. The roaches perhaps realizing that they should be retreating. Anytime you have your units that far out across the map, especially slow-moving units such as unupgraded roaches, pretty much you should be ready to lose them. Snute should not be keeping these roaches here. You can see that a Banshee will be popping out, and as long as Goody micros that Banshee and does a little bit of shoot and scoot or slide shooting, he should be in a good position. Widowmine now being trained, no reactor on this factory, so perhaps just one Widowmine off here, as we now see that the Banshee is going to get into position, and there is that damage being dealt. Goody is not shooting and scooting, perhaps just going to get 1 or 2 shots off onto a roach. That is a bit of a problem. She needs to go after that lead roach. Does not get it, and how much damage is going to be dealt? 1 roach gets taken down. A second roach may get taken down as well. There it goes. Nicely played, as the Banshee may get a 3rd roach as well. So Goody doing a good job cleaning up all of these roaches. 3 roaches go down, 406 resources lost, as the Reaper still giving chase. We can see that there is no Glio reconstitution just quite yet. Marines now pushing out. This is a very, very aggressive push, especially against the sheer number of queens, and this may not work. Goody may be over-investing in this fight. Widowmine now burrowing, and it looks like the shot will get off there. Down goes 1 roach, but the time does take quite a while before it will get shot down. An Overlord now going to go down. This is a lot of Marines going up against roaches and queens. Is it going to be enough? Goody now fighting against the sea of Zerglings. Reaper now trying to fight back here, and it looks like the Zerglings will clean this up. Triple queens, 1 low hit point queen saved at the last second with a beautiful transfusion. Now, what has Goody been training back at home? Not very much, especially when you consider there is a tech lab on this factory, and he is just now starting those siege tank numbers. That should have been something he started much, much earlier, as we may see roaches coming in for that counterattack. Marines now making a move down. Marines down off over here as well. We are going to see some SCVs being transferred down. 38 drones versus 28 SCVs. Snute with a definite advantage, as Snute now sets up a 3rd base. Alright, what is Snute going to follow up this play with? You can see 1 siege tank is operational. A Banshee is now out once more. Perhaps cleaning up roaches is the Banshee's permanent job, as a Raven looks to perhaps drop some more point defense, or sorry, some auto turrets, but there is a queen in position. It will push back this Raven once again. There's an auto turret. No, not enough armor or weapon damage to really make any use of that, and there it goes. Siege tanks. Factories still being added. We can see a factory now training more Widowmines. It is going to be a 3-base Zerg versus a 2-base Terran, as I mentioned. And this is going to perhaps put a little bit of pressure on Goody. Goody is behind, economically speaking, 41 drones, 38 SCVs, especially when a 3rd base is now will be operational in just a short amount of time. But what's this? Snute now moving out with 13 roaches. That is a large number. There's only a few siege tanks in position, and if Goody doesn't get another siege tank soon, he is going to be in trouble. No real scouting. You can see the sheer number of Snute's units now making their way across the field. Ventral sacks, we could be coming in for a drop straight up on top of all of these units once more. Changelings now trying to make their way up the ramp. Quickly get shot down as an Overseer, now forced to back off here. You can see, though, all of the Ventral sacks. Roach is now trying to just simply walk in here. This is not good. The siege tank perhaps overestimating its chances against the sheer number of roaches, and Snute easily takes and breaks the front wall here on Antigua Shipyard. I do believe that there's too many roaches to follow up, and there is the GG coming in from Goody. Game 1 goes to Snute. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1. Please stay tuned for Game 2.